in the area have not followed suit, and perhaps they will once they catch on. They're a little slower. You mentioned the move in 1998, and you talk of that as a historic date, when Drexel at first acquired the management of MCP Hahnemann and its affiliates, and then subsequently acquired the medical school. This was a controversial move, to say the least. It was a brave and courageous one, I think. Tell us about it. Tell us about perhaps the whole political situation that was involved, and also, I mean, when you discussed it just now, you made it seem like both a civic responsibility and also an academic one, and perhaps you could address those two sides to the issue.
Well, there were three components. One was civic, the other one was academic, but there is a third one, which was prevalent, and that was the business component.
Okay.
It had to work as a business. And so I have a great group of vice presidents at Drexel who could probably go and join any company in the United States and do a good job. So when the bankruptcy of Allegheny took place, we thought about how isolated Drexel is from the healthcare, because the only thing we had is the biomedical, a great biomedical program, but nevertheless, we did not have the outlet into healthcare, and healthcare is a $2 trillion business in the United States nowadays, and is continuously increasing in intensity and in funding, because let's face it, it's our health. And what is first in the list of our priorities than our health and the way that we age and the way that we try to prevent disease? Mm-hmm. So we felt that the technology of Drexel, blended with the healthcare programs that MCP and Hahnemann had in place, would provide another niche for Drexel. And as you probably know very well, I always work with niches, right? The Drexel marketing is, and our branding is actually number one, co-op, number two, technology. By the way, I have a business card here.
Oh.
I have to stand up to my reputation as
Yes.
a technological leader. So I'm the first president in the United States that has a business card that has a CD that tells you everything you wanted to know about
So
Drexel
I can take this
University.
and I'll learn everything I need to know.
Of course.
Okay.
So
Very nice, yeah.
so second niche for Drexel is technology, and third is Philadelphia, our urban location. Mm-hmm. So now, in those three marketing focal points, we are adding another one, and that is the blending of technology and healthcare.
Yeah.
And we think that this is a very strategic view of what will happen in the years to come. You have heard me talk about educating our MDs to know about business. You know that we have a special program where our MDs can get an MBA also. Mm-hmm. I think I would like to expand that program and make certain that more students and more medical students get exposed to business. Also, we like to expose them to technology, mm-hmm. Because the future of medicine is actually going to hinge mostly on technology. It's going to pivot around technology all the time as we progress in the future. So those were the thoughts that we had in our mind when we looked at the opportunity to take over the hospitals and also the medical school back in 1998. And we couldn't do it without a partner. So we created a unique model where our partner is a for-profit corporation. Mm-hmm. In this particular case, Tenet. Tenet was running at the time 120 hospitals across the nation, was a great operator of hospitals, and we partnered with them to remove the risk from the medical school of running the hospitals itself. In most cases in the United States, the risk of that medical schools are subjected to is the ups and downs of the business in the hospitals. And so, since we know very well how to run an academic enterprise, we felt that we can do a great job in running the College of Medicine, and then let the professionals run the college, run the hospitals that are affiliated with the college. And so we worked out an affiliation agreement for 20 years that provided for our students, for our residents, and for our faculty to work in the hospitals, and for us to be paid for it. And so that's how we created the partnership with Tenet. Yeah. But I would like to stress the fact that it may have sound controversial, may have sound scary, may have sound risky, but I can assure you there was none of that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we faculty were not privy in some ways to the larger picture, and it did seem a little scary, but it seems to have worked out well. Can you tell us where we are now in terms of this partnership?
It's not that the faculty, because they didn't know, were concerned. My board of trustees, who knew very well, were concerned also.
And why were they concerned?
Well, because I think that they were not so close to the trenches as I was. We felt that we had removed all the risk from this deal.
Right.
And that the probability of success was very high, was also very, very well related to what you said earlier on, that we started operating without owning the enterprise.
Right.
We tested the waters for 2 years, remember?
Right.
So in how many occasions in one's career you can test the waters in a business instead of plunging in? So we had the opportunity in 2 years to say, well, this is much bigger than what we can do, and we could withdraw gracefully. But as I projected, we found out that it was manageable, that the $300 million a year that the enterprise was losing before we took over was could be brought down to zero, to balance in over a 3-year period, and that's what we did. And it took us so long because we needed to be careful not to tear the academic fabric of the institution by moving too fast, by reducing the size of the enterprise too fast. I have to just say one thing, and that will give you an idea of what we encountered there. There were 1,200 professors teaching 1,000 students. Okay, and so that was completely out of line with any reasonable needs for the education of the medical students. We are the largest medical school in the United States among private universities with 1,000 medical students. We didn't want to be the largest medical school in size of faculty.
Right.
And so the faculty today are 400, and the students are still 1,000. And we are doing a great job. But having 800 employees, faculty employed without being really needed was a major burden that I think was one of the reasons that the system collapsed.
Well, it sounds to me as though, again, your business sense operated very well. Just as when you came to Drexel, you looked at a situation where we didn't have enough students to support economically our situation. You looked over there and you saw there were too many faculty for the number of students. And I wonder, you did spend time in the corporate world, which is unusual in some ways for a university president. You both were an academic, you were a researcher, you were an administrator within 2 universities, but you also worked in the private sector, in the corporate sector. Do you feel that that was instrumental to a lot of this thinking that you're describing now, particularly with respect to the medical school, perhaps.
Absolutely. I think that the training that I received in the first half of my career in the corporate world was instrumental in helping me deal with the circumstances that I encountered first when I came to Drexel, actually also when I went to Cincinnati. It was a turnaround too, but not as intense as Drexel, and nothing like the turnaround of MCP Hahnemann. So the fact that I learned management through practice,
right,
and I brought this component of my expertise to work at Drexel, I think it was very important in helping me succeed and get through the objectives that we set for ourselves.
Tell me about what you think about the corporatization, in some ways, of the university, what you see as the pluses and perhaps what you see as the minuses involved in that.
I publicly say that our students are the customer, because I really believe that if the students were not here, I wouldn't need the faculty, and definitely I would not be needed with my administration either. So the customer is actually the student who pays the tuition, or the parents, right? And keeps this university reaching new heights of excellence and be able to invest back in the quality of the education we provide them. So clearly, in my mind, that's the customer. Now, we do have also secondary customers. I consider a secondary customer the corporations who hire our graduates.
Right.
Okay, if I produce graduates who cannot hack it in industry, right, we are in trouble, because industry will not come and hire our graduates anymore, right? So they are customers, very important customers. So I keep in mind what makes us, what are the inner workings of the system. So if you start clearing up your mind and saying, okay, now this is the customer, and we need to provide them with service. And the service is actually a great education, great quality education, and also as little hassle as possible administratively. That's why we are trying to implement an annual billing system that will simplify a very unpleasant part of going to the university, getting a bill for your tuition, right? So our thinking is always, can we simplify, can we serve the customer better from the management perspective, and then the same thing from the academic perspective. Can we have courses and programs that respond to the needs of society? Yeah, we don't want to be so theoretical that our students lose the applicability of their education to society, especially Drexel, because of the co-op. So when our Media, Arts and Design school introduces a program in music management that draws students from all over the United States, and that it can also result to those students getting an MBA together with a BS degree in music management in 5 years. Now that is what is all about. Okay? We provide the customer with something, with a program and great instruction that prepares them for a career that is actually in demand.
Anyway, thank you, President Taki, for taking the time to give us insight into your educational philosophy, your career, and your vision for Drexel University. And thank you for joining us at the Drexel Interview.